Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Sunday. It's time to make something delicious. Today I'm going to make a dessert, and actually it's a dessert that can be used for dessert after a meal, or you can use it for breakfast with coffee or tea or cocoa or latte or whatever you have in the morning. It is probably the simplest recipe I will show you ever, but it is so tasty. It's called an easy Danish Kringle. I thought Kringle sounded a lot like Christmas, so I thought, well, this would be a good thing to make. But I promise you, if you make this and serve it to friends, relatives, enemies, they'll become friends, and everyone will love it. I'm going to take you down to the counter and we're going to put this together. It won't take 10 minutes to put together. I'll be right back as soon as I get the camera down to the counter. Okay, we're down here at the counter. I have an ungreased cookie sheet. And I'm going to mix together 2/3 of a cup of chopped pecans, 1/3 of a cup of packed brown sugar, and 3 tablespoons of softened butter. How hard was that? And I'm just going to mix it up till the butter is all incorporated with the brown sugar and the pecans. Now, if you don't want to use pecans, walnuts would work just fine. In fact, I'm going to give you a few alternatives after we get this one going, because I'm going to make this one according to the recipe. This is a Pillsbury recipe, originally made for using their products. Okay, now I have 1 pie crust. The way this recipe is written, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be enough to make 2 pie crusts. So we'll see when I put this on here. I've had this out of the refrigerator for about half an hour. I've also preheated my oven to 350. So now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to spread it out, and I really do think this may be enough for 2. I'm only going to make 1 because there's only the 2 of us. You want to leave yourself about ½ an inch at the end, and I'm only spreading it on half of the crust. Okay. Now I'm going to take a little water and I'm going to wet this crust. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to pull this a little bit if I can. That's the hardest thing with making this, is moving it after you've got it somewhat loaded. I'm folding it over to make like a big turnover. Now I'm going to move it to the middle of the pan. There we go. And we'll give it a good closing with a fork. So the 2/3, I could have made just a 1/3, but I wasn't sure by reading the recipe, except it said a box of pie crust. So I have enough here, I can make another one. Okay, I'm going to make a couple of little holes in the top. That's all she wrote. Now, was this difficult or what? This is going to go in the oven now for probably 17 to 22 minutes, it says. And then I'll be back and show you what it looks like when it comes out. Okay, here it is out of the oven. And I have let it cool for 5 minutes. And while it was cooling, I put together a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, and 2 or 3 teaspoons of milk. And I've made a glaze, which I'm going to glaze over this. And I'm not a glazer. I just put it on. And I'm going to try to get some everywhere. You want to put it on while it's still a little warm. And then I have a few pecans left, so I'm going to sprinkle some on the top. There goes my clock, right on cue. Now you can see where it came out a little bit here. I have a little bit too much stuffing in there because it was really supposed to make 2. So I am going to just try to get a butter knife under here and just release it from that pan there, because if it cools completely like that, you see it's a caramel almost, okay? So I'm just going to go under here, because you need to let this now cool. You see it's already, there we go. You need to let this cool completely before you cut it. So I probably won't get to taste test this one, but I will take a nice picture and put it at the end. Let me bring you up. Oh, well, let me show you right up close first. Look at that. Scrumptious. So that was easy. Easy peasy. Took all of about half an hour to make this and get it out of the oven. It's just got to cool now for probably another half hour. But the rest of that topping, that was for 2, I'm pretty sure, because it was, I used a little more than half. So that's why it was a little, coming out a little bit, but it's fine. And I'm not going to make another one with the other half. I think what I'll do is make up a few plain muffins and use that as the streusel topping for the muffins. They'll be delicious. Because I have so many ideas of what else to put in the middle of this. And here's my thought. I have a big can of salted peanuts that I got at Costco. Wouldn't it be nice to chop some of those up and put them inside with the brown sugar and the butter? Because that will give you that salty sweet combo, which is yummy. And then I think I would add just a few mini chocolate chips, or if you have just the regular size ones like I do, I chop those up too. Just because you want a sprinkling of them, you don't want a big hunk of chocolate chip. So I think I'd use the peanuts with some chocolate chip, and then make a peanut butter glaze to go on the top. I'm sorry, folks, but this is just, you know, really. Because this, on a yummy meter, this is about a 9, and the only reason it's not a 10 is it doesn't have any chocolate in it. So if I put some mini chocolate chips in there, guess what? We're overboard. So that's one idea. Peanuts with maybe some chocolate chips. You could put, oh, let me see. I'm thinking of something like maybe some chopped maraschino cherries with some of the nuts. You could use walnuts and some maraschino cherries as long as you get them dry so they don't get your crust all wet. With that same brown sugar and butter mixture. The brown sugar and butter stays the same. And give me some ideas. What would you put inside this crust? And there was just endless possibilities. How about peanut butter chips and nuts? Or, let's see, something you could use like a jarred fig sauce, maybe, with some nuts in it. But I think that there's so many things you can do. But anyway, the Danish Kringle recipe from Pillsbury, and you can look it up. By the way, you know, the people who put out the products, every one of them have websites that have all kinds of recipes telling you how to use their products. So give it a look and see. So that's it for today. I'll probably take a picture of this later when I cut it to serve, and I'll show you how good it looks. And then I will see you on Tuesday, and we'll be working on some more Christmas crafts. I don't know if you can see behind me. I'm not sure. I think you might be able to get a little glimpse of my table back there is got my decoration on it. And I'll show you that Tuesday. We're going to be doing something in the living room, I think, probably Tuesday. So until then, I hope you have a great Sunday. We'll be watching the Masters and rooting for somebody, but every time I root for somebody, they go backwards, so I'll just root for the guy that wins. Anyway, enjoy your Sunday. Stay safe. Stay warm or cool, whichever is necessary. Dry. Keep your feet dry. Wear a mask. Keep your distance. Wash your hands. And everybody play nice now. I'll see you Tuesday. Love you. Bye-bye.